This Late Night Linux Family podcast is made possible by our patrons. Go to latenightlinux.com/support for details of how you can join them. Support us on Patreon for access to ad-free episodes and early releases. That's latenightlinux.com/support. Hello and welcome to episode 344 of Late Night Linux, recorded on the 26th of July 2025. I'm Joe, and with me are Phelim.
Banjax me back.
Graham.
Good evening, everyone.
And Will.
Tickets for Metallica.
Right, I'm not interested in your old man shit, so let's get straight over the news. We're recording a little bit early on the Saturday for various reasons, so we might be a little bit behind the times. But let's start with Clear Linux is no more. So this was Intel's distro, which, if you've looked at the various benchmarks on Phoronix over the years, has been incredibly fast. It's basically was the fastest distro out there, but Intel have decided to shit can it with no notice whatsoever. It was just like, yeah, that's done now. You better migrate off to something else.
Have they seen my CMake rules in Gen 2?
I thought it was nice that Intel were giving a shit about a kind of first-party Linux distro of their own, because I felt that that really drove them to do better things in the kernel and elsewhere. But I'm not convinced that that's really the case anymore. I think that they will continue to contribute and have been big contributors to Linux. I'm sure they'll continue to do that. I feel sorry for all the people who have worked away on Clear Linux for a long time, making it as fast as it was, only for it to be canned, seemingly out of the blue.
Yeah, it's been around for 10 years, and it was pretty niche. I don't think many people were running it on the desktop, for example. But those who were are just knackered now. It's not really very good to just shut it down like this, I don't think. It doesn't feel like the most responsible way to end a project.
Have any of us tried it?
Never.
I've not tried it, unfortunately, but I remember us talking about it and thinking, wow, I really must try it.
I've tried it briefly, and it was very fast. And that's sort of the only real memory I had of it.
You mean fast to boot, or fast in kind of day-to-day operations?
Well, just everything about it. It was just really tuned for x86. Because that's all they care about, obviously. I mean, primarily Intel, but obviously if you tune for Intel, AMD's generally going to be all right. And so it just felt that little bit faster than all the other distros I've ever tried.
Yeah.
Just to boot, to run applications, just everything about it.
I do like the idea that company with the expertise on the hardware is the company building the kernel and everything else. Because everything else is just a guess or generic.
Well, yeah, it's almost like the Mac situation, isn't it? Where they've got their Apple Silicon CPUs or system on a chip, whatever, and they control the entire thing, and so they can make it completely optimized in theory. It's not quite as vertically integrated with the Clear Linux situation, or wasn't, but it was somewhere close to that. So it's no surprise that it was the fastest distro that Michael at Phoronix ever tested. And, his final benchmarks of Clear Linux on Intel, he did it on a Xeon server, and it was 48% faster than Ubuntu out of the box. Although that is because Ubuntu's got some not ideal defaults. Once he changed those defaults, it was still significantly faster, though, in basically every test.
It's a bit of a saber-toothed tiger of Linux distros, though. Maybe the over-specialization was its actual biggest downfall.
Maybe.
I mean, if you see the project is Intel only and you are, well, maybe even just run AMD, you're probably not going to even pay much attention to it because you think, it's just a corporate distro. But it'd be great if they could document in fine detail how they did all their customizations, and maybe every other distro could kind of benefit from it.
I imagine the source is still going to be available, right? They're not going to delete it. So if people want to go and look through it, they'll be able to find out how it was all done. And in the thread that is linked to in the doc, there is talk, or rather somebody says, that the Clear Linux name isn't trademarked as far as they can tell. And so perhaps that leaves the door open to a community reboot.
Maybe. I mean, it certainly could be forked, even if it isn't called Clear Linux.
I don't think the name actually helps it.
Yeah.
Ultra-fast Linux might be a better name.
Exactly. It's not surprising given what's been going on at Intel, but it's still disappointing that they shut it down so abruptly. Doesn't feel responsible, as I said, but oh well. UK to lead crackdown on cybercriminals with ransomware measures. So this is the UK government proposing that official institutions like the NHS will be banned from paying ransomware ransoms.
Wholeheartedly agree.
Well, yeah, this is a rare example of a government doing something good, I think, because there is no point paying. Even if you pay, there's no guarantee that you're going to get your data back or that they're not going to leak your data. And also, you are supporting the propagation of this shit. It's like you're supporting the business model of it. If everybody just refused to pay, then it would go away, wouldn't it?
Well, hopefully, but yeah.
In theory. Well, there'd be no point, would there?
Yeah.
If people refuse to pay, why would you even bother developing it?
No, I think this is definitely a good thing. I mean, it's hard if you're the head tech person in a hospital and all of a sudden all the patient records have just been encrypted and there is no way out of it. Not unlike what happened in Ireland 2 years ago, maybe. We had a serious situation where a whole load of stuff got encrypted, and I guess it would have worked out if they'd pay that money. I think they had enough backups. I think that's how they restored everything. But yeah, imagine if you didn't.
If you've got the proper backups and the proper backup procedures, then ransomware's not even really a big deal.
Yeah, it's that hindsight is 2020 sort of issue though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but if you outlaw the payment of the ransoms, then that's going to make people think, well, shit, we need to make sure that we've got other ways to deal with it.
Yeah, hopefully.
If you get burgled in the UK, the police come around your house and have a poke around, and the general advice you get is that burglaries are typically opportunistic. Like somebody will walk down the street, or not somebody, a burglar will walk down the street and look for a house to burgle, and they'll choose the one that looks the easiest to burgle. And if you want to not be burgled, all you need to do is be less easy to burgle than next door, and then you'll be okay. And I think that this is exactly that theory played out. Like if all UK governments will not pay, then there's little point in attacking them other than for lols. But, you know, in theory, if you're in it for the money, you go and try and attack somebody else because they are more likely to pay. So I think that this is morally a good idea. You shouldn't do these kinds of things because it will only encourage them. But also I think it's like technically, I think it's quite a nice solution to this problem.
So essentially you'll have two digital signposts pointing at Ireland and France. I see how this plays out. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brexit.
Yeah. Brexit benefits again. But, you know, maybe the EU should look into this as well, eh?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. It's a good question. I actually don't even know if they do have a proper hard and fast sort of advice on it. I would assume so. Probably a committee involved somewhere.
I mean, it does fucking suck if you get hit by this and you haven't got proper backups.
The problem with backups is the fact that you're literally paying for nothing. You're paying for a thing that hope never happens. It's the hardest sell ever.
After insurance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's like when I sorted out my backups recently, and yeah, I bought an extra 2 hard drives for a lot of money that I hope to never use.
Yeah.
It is a hard sell. We've got a couple of funny AI stories. The first one is from 404 Media, which is paywalled. So I initially put in an archive.is link, but archive.is seems to be down as we record. So you lot are getting a Nginx error. So that's not ideal. But anyway, the bottom line is Amazon has got this AI coding agent thing called Q, which I think is a very strange name given the whole QAnon thing. But anyway.
Are they trying to do the old Star Wars or what is it? Trek?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, the one with Picard, Star Wars, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, the one with Jane Margolis' dad, yeah. Anyway, they've got this AI thing, and so this hacker, as they're being called, just submitted a pull request with a big long prompt saying, delete all my shit, basically. And Amazon accepted this pull request and pushed it to prod. And it didn't actually do that much damage by the sounds of things. And they have removed that release. They've completely just deleted that release from history now, which is pretty funny. But like, what the fuck are they doing? Just allowing random pull requests without reading them, seemingly. Like, it wasn't like some obfuscated code or whatever. It was a plain text prompt saying, like, delete the home directory using bash scripts and delete all their AWS instances and all the rest of it. Like, it just was ridiculous that they let that in. And it's just funny to me. But the funnier one is a Register article, Vibe Coding Service Replit Deleted Production Database. So there's a fellow called Jason Lemkin, who is one of those like LinkedIn types. You know who I mean. And he was using this service called Replit, which, as the Register points out, bills itself as the safest place for vibe coding.
Oh dear.
And it like advertises itself as like, oh, you can build apps and websites and everything using this service. And it starts at like $25 a month. And this fella, Jason, was blogging about it. Oh yeah, I'm on course to spend $8,000 this month on this. And then it's totally worth it because it's saving me hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of developer time. And like his blog posts just get more and more disillusioned with it to the point where he just said, oh no, I'm done with this because it like deleted his database. It pulled in a database of just completely fabricated data. And worst of all, he told it to do version control and it just completely fucking ignored him. Just no version control whatsoever. So he just lost everything. I mean, he deserved everything he got, quite frankly, but it is just a hilarious story that I recommend you read.
I just don't understand why people want to prompt development. It's just, I don't understand how that would be even fun. It's just bizarre.
Well, it's not about being fun, is it? It's about saving money. It's about not paying people to do it properly and not bothering to learn how to do it yourself.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's just unfortunate that it's going to take a bit of these type of lessons before people realize that, okay, there's more than just writing code.
But what's extra funny is that if you go to this fella's LinkedIn, this video podcast thing, or clips from a video podcast that him and some of his chums have done, talking about this, and I'm convinced that the version that they've edited down for LinkedIn, and presumably other socials, was edited by AI because it is so bad. Like it cuts off like halfway through words. No person could edit that badly. And, you know, so as someone who basically edits for a living.
Really?
No, seriously, I'm aware of bad editing, right? I know what bad editing looks like. And this is not bad editing. This is fucking AI bad editing.
I think you should let me edit this show. We'll see how bad it can get. Oh, why is it switched to mono and stereo halfway through a sentence?
It's honestly worse than that. But yeah, anyway, have a read of those two stories. They are very, very funny. Okay, this episode is sponsored by Tailscale. Go to tailscale.com/LNL. Tailscale is a proper VPN for connecting your devices and infrastructure together. It's the easiest way to connect devices and services to each other wherever they are. PCs and laptops, servers, cloud instances, 3D printers, network storage. Connect anything and everything you want wherever it is, and get started in minutes. Tailscale's personal plan will always be free, and you get up to 100 devices and 3 users for free with no credit card required. So support the show and go to tailscale.com/LNL and try Tailscale out today. Or if you want to use Tailscale at an industrial scale, with more users and devices, or take advantage of features like MDM policies, auditing, network flow logging, and priority support, try it out at work using the code Linux25. You'll get 3 free months of any Tailscale paid plan, and you can find out why thousands of companies like Instacart, Hugging Face, and Duolingo have switched to Tailscale. That's code Linux25. An exciting new distro is born, KDE Linux.
Yep, and it's got all the buzzwords, but this is something that we learned back in Academy days. So it's the immutable desktop, very heavily centralized on using the systemd tools, and apparently it's able to save developers of KDE about 49 gigabytes worth of space when they're using it through all sorts of magic, I guess would be the word I can only imagine. But I do wonder if this has kind of been sort of leaning on the SteamOS type of way of building things, because it is also Arch-based and immutable and KDE-based. So maybe they've been able to back and forth a few of the ideas there.
Well, I tried this briefly today on my X270 ThinkPad. And although they say this is pre-alpha, you know, be careful, I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I installed it and it looks exactly like KDE Neon, which is not really surprising. And I didn't use it for long, but it just worked perfectly for me. I was able to watch YouTube videos, connect my Bluetooth headphones, all of that. And what's great about it is that it's got loads of Flatpaks installed by default. So they're kind of heavily leaning on Flatpak. But it has also got Snapd running. So you can install snaps if that's your bag. And it's also, out of the box, got DistroBox, which I know that you lot are not into, but I'm telling you, DistroBox is amazing. You can pull down an image of basically any of the major distros, including old versions, which is what I use for the Python visualizer thing that I create the videos of these shows with. I do that in Ubuntu 22.04. So it's kind of got all the bases covered. If you love KDE and you want a simple distro, I mean, they say don't rely on it yet, but this looks really, really promising to me.
It's quite cool. Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to try it out, but just work was mental for the whole week. So definitely something I'm going to try. But the only problem I would have with it is the fact that I very much live in the Debian-based world for server stuff. So there is some of that best favorite term dog fooding going on with a Deb distro. But yeah, I mean, this might very well be the future for my distro if Neon was to go the way of the Dodo. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I wasn't planning to talk about this for a while because people will be getting sick of my KDE adventures, but my Neon adventure on the framework is over because it just started just completely shitting the bed. I don't know what it was, but I'd just try and click somewhere and then various stuff would disappear to the point where I was at a terminal and I couldn't even do a reboot or a shutdown -R. It was just completely shit the bed. And so I don't know what the fuck was going on with it.
I have a suspicion. Did you use suspend on it at all?
Nope.
Because I have seen an issue where a framework was suspended or slept, I'm not sure which, and when it came back, essentially the whole machine started slowly grinding to a halt, and if you looked in the terminal, you could actually see a whole load of messages about a driver not loading properly or something like that. I have more details saved somewhere. I was off site and it was one of the clients guys had bought the framework and put Neon on it and had this issue where it literally, the mouse pointer stopped almost getting across the screen. It was so bad. It was crazy. So interesting. I think that might be a hardware issue, but yeah, or the way it interacts with the software, but interesting. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I think we should try and troubleshoot that because it'd be interesting to know if that's a bigger problem.
Well, I've just given up on that. And so last night I put Neon onto a ThinkPad, this time an X1 Carbon. I thought, right, it's going to be all right there. And so far, so good. But then I wake up to you saying, hey, check out this KDE Linux thing. And I'm thinking, maybe this is how I should try KDE. But I don't know. It doesn't seem quite ready for prime time yet, does it?
I guess a lot of these technologies have been well tested by now, though. That is the only other thing. And if you've had such a good go of it so far, sure, maybe just stick with it.
Yeah, but I did put it on like my shittest, oldest ThinkPad.
Thanks for giving it a fair try there.
Well, to be fair, I tried Bluefin on that same ThinkPad and it felt a little bit sluggish, whereas this does not feel sluggish on there so far.
Okay, I'll take that.
I also really like the idea of this. Having got used to KDE on my Steam Deck and using it for certain things and relying on it in case it's the only thing I'm traveling with, I've wanted something like the KDE experience on a Steam Deck on a normal computer for a while. And also, it needs to be different. I guess distributions have become quite homogenous in many ways, and this is a different way of doing things than the way of getting the latest KDE. I do think they do a poor job with their kde.org/Linux webpage, and that's such a typical KDE screenshot on there, just cram everything on. But I do really like the idea of this, and I must find an excuse to give it a go.
Sounds like Graham needs to be gone to the Relearning Institute.
Yeah.
Well, I quite like the website, actually, that it's got, a basic screenshot at the top, although it's very busy, to be fair.
That's what I mean, really.
You say very busy, but that's pretty much what my desktop looks like right now.
No.
But then underneath it's got key benefits, safe, simple, flexible, powerful. And then it's got general information. And then you have to scroll right down to get into the weeds of, the snap and Flatpak stuff and the fact that it's immutable. So I think that it's pretty well presented. Maybe they could have gone for a slightly cleaner screenshot. I'll give you that.
More screenshots. Less complicated screenshots, and also a weird MacBook Pro model they seem to be using.
Yeah. Isn't that a slim book, maybe?
It's the clasp at the front that looks exactly like Apple's.
Oh, well, I've just looked it up and it is a slim book.
Oh.
which is you can get with KDE on it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Apologise profusely, come on.
I really apologise.
Actually, looking at it again, it's not quite, because the touchpad isn't off to one side. So, yeah, you can take back that apology, it's fine.
And the speaker grills look identical. But anyway, small stuff. I think KDE does a great job. I love KDE, but I think with things like the screenshot, they do themselves an injustice by just throwing everything at it when they could just be a bit more selective and a bit cleaner in the way that they present what KDE could be, because I think a lot of people find the experience as overwhelming as that screenshot may be, and those people may be convinced by something that looks a little bit more selective.
It's almost like it was designed by a software developer and not a designer.
Yeah. We need a design academy. I think that would be great.
Right, well, we'd better get out of here then. We'll be back next week when who knows what it'll be. But until then, I've been Joe.
I've been Phelan.
I've been Graham.
And I've been Will.
See you later.